Reality After Show. We're back with more of The Anonymous. And today, Adrian and myself are joined by a very special guest, Tyrenna. What's going on?
Hi, everybody. Everything is fantastic. Thank you for the opportunity.
We're super excited to have you. Very
excited
for you giving us your time and to come on. And I just want to jump right into it. You know, going into the show, what was your initial thoughts on what the context was and what the gameplay was potentially going to be?
You know, to be honest with you, I was a little bit confused because it was a hybrid of two different games that I really liked, which was The Circle and Big Brother. So morphing those together as we went through it, I just wanted to make sure that my strategy was good on both parts. But I was excited. I mean, you know, who wouldn't be excited to be the first time on somebody's show, right? So it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask earlier too. Is just what shows were you into already, and was it applicable? Like your knowledge of Big Brother and The Circle, did that help you, or was that applicable to this game?
The Circle, yes, because I did well, in some areas, and as you know, I didn't do as well in other areas. So I knew more of The Circle, down packed, solid, sitting on the couch, got it, right? Emoji square, send. And then the Big Brother piece of it was a little bit more hazy, foggy kind of thing. Like I knew the game, but so it was definitely, challenging to kind of juggle a couple of balls in the air at the same time. But it was fun. It was fun.
We'll get to the balls part because that is going to come up with the balls challenge. Don't worry, I'm going to ask that. But I will say, so you arrive and you see everyone for the first time. What are you thinking when you see your fellow competitors?
I said, well, I'm old. I think that was one of the first. And I think the first thing I said is, well, I'm not the oldest person here. But everybody was it was like these were all beautiful people, right? All stylish, all, gameplay ready. I can still remember what everybody had on that first day. And everybody looked the same way. Intrigued, a little nervous, just kind of anticipating what was next. So I really just wanted to meet everybody and just be like, hey, who are you? Where you got to? But we couldn't chit chat in that moment. Just not just yet.
Yeah.
Talk to me. How quickly did you guys jump right in? Because obviously they tell us that you have someone's getting eliminated the next night. So the gameplay moves really quickly in this one in comparison to other game shows that we see typically.
So when you get there, you get like a meet and greet, right? So you go somewhere and you go to like a little conference and you're doing like a little mixer. Our mixer is like on steroids, right? It's like, Nina, Christopher, Xavier, blah. It's like rapid fire, hi. And then it's like mute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, go. And then we can start talking again once we're in the thick of the show, So we had our moments where we had to kind of wait. And then we had our moments where we could just have, free conversation, which was typically on camera. That's when the free conversation occurred, is when we was actually on camera.
Yeah, and you're trying to wheel and deal and trying to get to know everybody and build these relationships like in a pressure cooker. That's got to be stressful. Like, did you feel any stress doing that?
Yes, because I think collectively we didn't expect to do everything in that first. As soon as we got there, you think that you have like a merging period, but we kind of went right into our first challenge. But we did fantastic considering we didn't really get a chance to know each other. We gelled really well together very quickly to get that challenge together. So the energy was like amazing. Like, I mean, everybody had these really dynamic, big personalities, like a bunch of type A's, right? You get like a whole bunch of type A's and it's just like chaos, right? But constructive chaos, like beautiful chaos. And that's what it was. It was just chaos, but it was good chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to know from that first challenge, were you kind of analyzing where people were deciding to go and what spots they picked for the order, I would say?
Yes. So Obviously, the people who picked the larger numbers, I was like, okay, I need to pay attention to them because their memory is long. Mine's used to be longer, but you know, the way I'm set up, you know, it's like, okay, I got to remember, I got to go across the street. So thinking, okay, if I could get somewhere in the middle. Initially, I wanted the number 5, right? But everybody's like shooting out numbers. We got 2 minutes to put this together, and then we're on go. So I said, well, I'd rather compromise, take a lower number, and just kind of for the good of the team. But everything is being judged at that moment. From like when you did, it's just like everybody's like, oh, so she took number 2. All right, we got to watch. Oh, he took number 1. So everybody is like checking everybody out. Some more blatantly, some a little bit more coy, you know, and then you can see the people who are already sticking out, right? You know, right away. Oh, I'll take 9. Oh, okay, you're a high achiever. Got it. You know, you have that kind of going on too.
So do you feel like in a situation like that, it's better to sit back and wait for other people to pick and then make your decisions from there?
It's not even that you could sit back. It's like, you know, again, you're all, everybody's fighting for the same cookie, right? Because if you have a couple of people who all want number 5, well, it's like, okay, well, I want number 6. Well, I got number 6. So you kind of just get in where you could fit in, right? And so, and that's what it was. We could have picked numbers out of sorts and just went for it, but collectively we just went in chronological order and it was just easier. So it's like, get in where you fit in, make your voice heard, or you're going to take the number that you get. And that's kind of how it was.
Y'all, honestly, for not knowing each other and not having that communication piece quite yet, did really well with that first challenge because you got a lot of money for the pot.
That's right, because it's all about the money, baby. This is $100,000 that was on the line, and we needed those coins. So yeah, everybody did. I have to honestly say, because we didn't really get a chance to talk to each other, you know, and we did. We got there, we got it together. So team challenges, yes, we would do really fantastic. Absolutely.
So after everything with the challenge and all of that, I want to know, is there anyone that stood out to you where you go, I think I really like this person, want to definitely work with them, and then another person, ooh, I'm taking major pause on this person?
I immediately wanted to work with Dylan, right? Dylan has this big, beautiful smile. He has these big old eyes. And me and Dylan like kind of exchanged a glance. Like, I think I'm your friend. He was like, I think I'm your friend too, right? And then you have Jack. He has this bow tie. I was like, I think I like you. He was like, hey, my name is Jack, you know? And so there were people, Chris with his cool suit and his buttons all the way down, and Xavier. So it was already people that I knew that I had naturally liked, right? And then Robbie stuck out to me because her body language was a little bit different, a little bit more distant. And so I was like this, okay. That one right there. I'm gonna have to watch out for her because you could tell she was definitely strategically gameplay. She had the game face on from the door. I'm still like, fa la la, where am I? You know, like, oh, you get ready to do this, but she was in game mode. So that was the person immediately I had my eye on from the very beginning. Yes,
a savvy choice for sure.
So I want to talk about your handle in particular and then going into anonymous mode, because as a viewer, it's really interesting to watch how everyone comes after each other in the chat because you don't know who's playing who. So you select Truck as your handle. Talk to me about Truck.
Well, you know, here I am. I got on a fuchsia pants, this orange shirt. I got all this hair just bushy. You know, they're not going to be like, oh, she's kind of girly. She's not a Truck kind of person, right? I look very feminine, very soft, but I'm also a person that's in the military services, and there are Trucks in the military services. So to me, it was so on the nose that somebody paying attention should have picked it right up, but it was so far off because people, I guess, went based on what they saw. They just didn't put 1 and 2 together. And that was what my hope was, is to kind of throw people off my handle, which I I did well, but, you know, clearly not well enough because I'm sitting up here talking to you now.
No, you didn't. Your choice was, I mean, we discussed it earlier. We think it was one of the best ones that anybody did in the first round of handles. Was initially when you saw the handles come up on the screen, was there any that like leapt out to you like, ooh, did somebody pick that? Why would somebody pick that? Like, was there anything that like really jumped out to you that was maybe alarming?
The donut, because it was just, to me, it's a hole in the middle. It's so loud. It was so appropriate for Chris because it fits Chris like a glove to a hand, right? And so I was like, as much as I like donuts, because I really do, I do like a good donut. It just kind of stuck out as being too much. And as well as the dice, right? The dice was a little bit like, to me, sneaky, and same thing with sharks. So I try to get something that really people would stay under the radar. Plus, it would be easy to throw it off on somebody else. It's very masculine. So maybe one of the guys, could be a truck. So I try to get something really gender neutral, kind of, it could be or couldn't be. So that was my whole thought process when I selected the truck.
Sound thought process. I support you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I was trying it. I was working hard to do it.
And then it just has to be so difficult trying to piece together who is who, because as you said, there's some obvious ones, there's some neutral ones, and then one that are just way out there. So I can only imagine what's going on when you're actually seeing every chat come up and then people are firing the chats and then some people are more subtle. And then talk to me about the ones that don't talk as much. How does that make your mind shift, the ones that are a bit quieter when they're talking?
I think, okay, so you gave me a lot to
I did. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. So I think the first part is when I'm looking at the handles, what am I thinking as I see the different handles come up? I'm trying to match personalities or commonalities based off of what people said. So I'll give you an example. Dylan is from Texas, right? He loves Beyonce. Beyonce has a song, Alien Superstar. He chose the alien, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, I'm like, duh, like he's the alien, right? Because he loves Beyonce and it was Alien Superstar. There's an alien. That has to be Dylan. Now, a lot of them I still got completely wrong, right? Because I thought Xavier was dice and I thought Jack was pizza. Jack was from New York. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from New York, even though I live in Maryland now. Oh, who doesn't like a good slice of pizza? Jack has to be the pizza. Jack clearly was not the pizza, so it's hard. And then you try to pay attention to what people say. So donut was more like, okay, when you see how the donut spoke and wrote, after a while, I was like, that's Christopher, because you can kind of pick up on those. But it was tough. I have to tell you, it was just like you're writing on we had these tablets, and you're writing all these clues, and you're like, yeah, here's what I think. And all of them would be be wrong. But I was doing better in my ranking every night. So okay. I was getting better at keeping people off my scent, which was the whole premise of me doing well, hence the circle. I was like, all right. So I had that part down pat.
So discussing all of the handles, there's one in particular that I would love to get your feedback on. Football, one of the most controversial handles of the first couple episodes. Super aggressive towards Andy. Did you have any insight of football?
No. Let me tell you something. Jack, to me, I've been calling him the sleeper, right? Because Jack is, he's wearing this bow tie. He has, again, this nice smile. He comes, of course, as this very boyish kind of personality. And he's in there throwing Andy under the bus every time he gets. And it was so epic to me. Like the fact that he could be like, oh, Andy, I'm going to get you. But, on the outside, I got you. And I don't think it was so much to get rid of Andy, but it was to, and Jack knows his own strategy, but I took it as it's like reinforcing a friendship so Andy can continue to trust Jack because he needed somebody to vent to, and Jack can kind of control how that went, right? But I don't think it was ever an intent to necessarily get rid of Andy, but I thought it was a fantastic strategy that really, really worked well. And it was such an emotional roller coaster for poor Andy. My God. It was like, what is going on? And then watching Jack, like, yeah,
Jack was just chilling and Andy's over there. Who the heck is football?
Right. And, so that was to me the best because he was, he knew what he was doing. So I thought that was like so entertaining to watch. And I think Andy being a great ambassador for just kind of understanding how things go and still not ever realizing that Jack was football is fantastic, right? You know, so that's the great part, just to see how this continues on, because you know now he has a new handle and obviously will be coming for Andy, I'm sure.
So I want to know the aftermath. You're in anonymous mode, and then everyone gets fired with each other in the chats. Then you go back and you see everyone face to face. Talk me through that.
So after the chats, it's funny because you're side-eyeing people and being like, who said that? Now, for the most part, you know, like I've been there 1,000 years, I stayed under the radar. It's once you get up on the board is, to me, where the guillotine happens, right? Mm-hmm. So as soon as I saw my name, that's when I was like, here comes the bullshit, because I knew at that point, it's like everybody piles on, because it's easier to pile on to the person that somebody's focusing on than to be the outlier, right? Because again, we got our tablets. They'd be like, okay, well, why didn't Fish vote for Tyrenna? Maybe I need to watch out for Fish, because you are trying to stay anonymous. And so everybody still kind of maneuvered the same way, a little bit more sketch, a little bit more like these huddles, you know, these talks and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm still like, is there coffee? Can I get coffee? I need coffee, you know? So, and then who you think is in your corner, right? Not everybody's in your corner. So who you may be talking to may not be an ally, and it may be, you know, like a Jack and Andy situation. So you really don't know. You could only hope that somebody's word is their bond, right? And so it was a little sketch and quiet huddles going on a lot after the chats.
Right on. It's just hard because you get right in after having that, and then you're talking to people face to face, and you have to have that poker face, right? I was this person in the handle, now I'm out and talking to you face to face. So I want to touch base on the two challenges. One of them where you accidentally hit Nina. It was definitely an accident, right?
Yes, it was. It really
okay.
was. Yeah, it was definitely, because I like Nina, right? And so, but I really didn't know if I hit her or not, because the end of her name and my name both end in NA. And so you got this Swiss cheese tower and it's spinning around, and Christopher is to my right, and he's throwing those balls like lasers. Like they like, whoo. And I'm like, I hope none of these balls hit me. And, you know, I'm like, accuracy, you know, and I'm a lefty, right? So I'm trying to like, okay, I got to turn my body this way. Like, oh shit, it bumped up and then it went in. I was like, I think I hit her, you know, and it was totally, totally innocent. If I tried to hit somebody, I probably couldn't have did it, but it kind of bounced and it just went up. And that's really kind of balls went, because the thing is spinning, it pops up and it's either, you know, literally hit or miss if it goes in one of the bigger holes or one of the smaller holes. So it was an accident.
Even I just had to get the confirmation. We needed to know, because
the final word.
Right. The final word is it was an accident. But now that I know that she voted for me, it should have been on purpose, right? It should have been on purpose. Love you, Nina. It should have been. But no, it was a complete accident. It was definitely an accident.
So I want to talk about the box, because I really enjoyed watching that challenge unfold. And I'm curious, did you ever think about taking Marcel's box?
After the fact, like, I think for me, my empathy, like, was like, came in. So let me say this. Marcel's a fantastic player. By no means he's a strong player like everybody else. He just happened to be on the board every time there was a vote. And so it was kind of like one of those things, like, I liked him. It wasn't necessary that we had an alliance. I just liked him, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not $100,000 type of thinking. I should have been like, I like you, but I'm going to go over here and take this box, right? So the empathy part of me didn't take it. But when I realized that, because I knew he had it, right? You know, his body language, everything about his body language told me he had it. Mm-hmm. I was hoping that my own body language made people think that I had it. I was very, you know, coy. I had the box. I had the poker face. Mm-hmm. My stance was, I was on top of it. I finally was really playing the damn game, right? You know, I pulled my shit together. I was like, all right, Please, somebody take this box from me. And if they would have took it, then I would have went over there and took Marcel's, because my thoughts was my odds hopefully would be in my favor, that I had 2 more times for somebody to save me and I can leave him alone. But hindsight 2020, I think if I would have taken his box, no one still would have voted him out, you know. So if it ever happens again, I'm taking the box. I'm definitely taking the box. Yeah.
Note it. Take the box. Go with
taking the box. I'm taking the box. Yes, absolutely.
No second guesses. Just go for it. I love it.
Go for it. Yeah. I learned a lot from these guys. They came in a lot. I mean, these are some huge, like, I had no idea who some of these folks, well, I had no idea who any of these folks was. Let me just would be blunt, right? I didn't know. And the fact that they just played the strategy game really, really well. I just needed that extra day. I think if I would have made it into the next episode and just had that minor moment to adjust, I would have really fell into my rhythm. But there, as you can see, there's no time. Like from the door, once you get in there, you really have to be in gameplay mode. And so I was a little late to the party.
And I also think that everything turned so quickly against you.
Wasn't that something?
Yeah, like we were talking about that. It's just like you look like you were on cruise control, like you were ready to rock, and then and then all of a sudden everything just flipped on its head.
Let's talk about it. Right?
I know. Did you have an inkling, or was it like a trigger for that?
So I think what happened is when I started to play strategy, right? I was talking to people that were not in my alliance. And it got back to the already formed alliance where you saw the Xaviers and all of them talking together. And so I think in their mind, it was like, oh, we got to get rid of her. Plus, I think I was a victim of circumstance. They thought that I was the anonymous, right? Which I wasn't, because again, I'm looking for coffee. I'm trying to be awake. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at, make sure, and then Robbie played really, really well at trying to be me, which I thought was the most hilarious thing, because it was like, that's something Tyrenna would say. And I'm like, really? Tyrenna said it. Tyrenna didn't say any of that. So that was the most funniest thing to me in the world. And so me not being a super emotional person, because I get it, it's a game. I was just like, well, how am I going to navigate out of this? Because it was tough, right? The only thing I could hope is, because they thought I was Dice, is that I knew it would push my rankings up, right? Because now I'm staying anonymous. So that's why they couldn't flesh me out. So I was like, nope, I'm in the game now. I'm not saying anything. But again, I think it's because they thought I was anonymous, because they thought I got rid of Casey, which I didn't, right? Because there was a conversation had, that I had shared something with Nina. And I think they thought that I didn't like Casey, which I did. I didn't have a problem with Casey. I did share some information, but I never voted for her. I never got rid of her. So I think it was just a matter of people didn't get the chance to, not everybody know me as well. And so I think they felt like, well, this is who she is, right? This is her saying this sort of stuff. And so I just couldn't navigate out of it. I tried to bob and weave, but I got boxed up pretty good. But I tried. I definitely tried to bob and weave. But it did. It went from I was good, and I felt like I went to the bathroom and came back, and it was like, you're gone. You get ready to go. I'm like, what happened? So yeah, it happens just that quickly. It really does. It really
That's
does.
crazy. Like I can't even imagine how quickly that would spin your head.
It did, but because I'm a big person on energy, and I saw how the shift of the mood went, is why where you see on that little clip, all right, let's get ready for the bullshit. I was already ready, and I don't do phony well, and so when I came out, when I went in, and I guess in the part of the show where you see I walk in and then walk back out because I have my jacket, I didn't want to be bothered. I wasn't, maybe if I went in there and boohoo cried and was like, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm like, I was like, what the hell with them? I'm gonna go out here and sit on the couch, never knowing that the person who had the guillotine, Xavier, was, who I trusted, was going to be the one to bring down the final chop. So hindsight 2020, I still wouldn't have cried because I'm just really too cool for that. But I probably would have started strategy earlier. allow people to get to know me a little bit better. Because think about it, you know, most of them could have been my child, right? I have a 26-year-old daughter. And, you know, sometimes talking to your mom is like you being respectful. You know, there are natural boundaries that people have, and it may been, I don't want to say any distance, because everybody was likable and I hoped everybody liked me, but it was just a little bit different, right? You know, so I think that kind of played a little bit into it, where in Andy, you know, he's the endearing, fashionable, you know, I don't even want to call him granddad, because he's just too snazzy for that, right? He's such a dapper, you know. And so although Andy was older than me, it was still a different dynamic with the type of energy I have, which I know I do have an air about me, but a friendly air, I would hope, and him being so engaging really, really quickly. But I wouldn't have did it. I'm happy at how I played the game, but I know next time on just how to play things differently. So I'll be ready.
There you go. That was going to be my final question for you. Would you do another game like this again?
Yes, I would do another game like this again. I learned from all of them. And at the end of the day, each and every one of them are fantastic. They are all superstars in their own right, everybody. And I definitely will take bits and pieces from each one of them. I'll take some of the strategy from Jack. You know, I take some of the alliances from Xavier. I'll take some of the twerking. No, I'm not going to twerk. I'll take some of some of the commentary from Lily. You know, so every single one, the in the shadows like Nina, and then I'll become this super force, right? You know, and then I'll be ready. I'll be like, ha ha, I got my cape on. I'm good. I'm ready. You know, let's give me a position. So yeah, considering I have never done anything like this before, it was great. I think my driver is me being 54 years old. I wanted to just let people know, and I have to say this again, is that we're not all sitting home, you know, just not doing anything. We have fun. We like to do stuff. We're out here. We're not, you know, the little old ladies of old, right? And I just wanted to show that I can do it. And I did. And so I feel very successful that people like me who like watching these shows, you know, can say, hey, that's somebody that I can relate to. And she did a pretty damn good job, even though them kids ran her ass right up out of it. So, but yeah, it was fun. I would definitely do it again for sure.
Well, it was definitely a pleasure to watch you. You were definitely one of the most compelling people on that show. So I appreciate
that. Thank you so much. And you know, I really just again appreciate the opportunity. And you know, keep your eyes peeled. I'm gonna try and see if somebody else wants me. And I got my shoulders out. So here,
you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Fabulous.
Well, Tyrenna, thank you so much for joining Adrian and myself today. It was such a pleasure to have you. You are an absolute delight.
Thank you. Okay, bye.